The Breeders Cup Juvenile, 8 horses are lining up in that starting gate. Who will be crowned the best 2-year-old colt? From a $3 million colt to an East Coast phenom, this race is full of talent. How will you find your winner? Facts and figures are going to give you that winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through those key angles to spot a Breeders' Cup Juvenile champ and preview each of the 8 horses lining up to take that crown. But before we get started, let me remind you this. Horse betting is not legal in every state, so if you're betting, make sure it's legal. Now, onto those angles. Starting with the angles, and we're going to look at the prep races. The key prep race for this race, the Grade 1 Champagne. 5 winners in the last 20 years. But none of the horses in this year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile is coming out of the Champagne. The other 2 major preps, the G1 American Pharoah and the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, each producing 4 winners. Now, all but 3 winners in the last 20 years prepped in a Grade 1 race, and 19 of the 20 came in the money in their prep race, exhibiting really good form. Now, fun fact, the horse that was not in the money in their prep race, Fierceness, who came in 7th in the G1 Champagne. Now, next to having that strong showing in their last race, class matters. 17 of the last 20 winners had Grade 1 experience, meaning they competed in the upper levels of competition. And of those 17, 82% were in the money 100% of the time, proving that they really belong there. And 65% had a G1 win. Now, only 45% had a win at the mile and 16s distance, but the others all had competed at the distance or were in the G1 Champagne at the mile. And let's not forget trainers. If your name is Bob Baffert or Todd Pletcher, you may move to the front of the line. Baffert has 5 wins in the last 20 years and Pletcher has 4. The number 1 horse is Intrepido. Trained by Jeff Mullins, he'll be ridden by Hector Berrios. Now this horse is flying under the radar, and he really shouldn't be because he was the winner of the G1 American Pharoah, which by the way is run at this distance. 3 starts and 2 wins. And he's got a win over the Del Mar track going a mile. And just remember, the Del Mar mile is a 2-turn race. Then he goes to the American Pharoah at Santa Anita. That Desert Gate was leading for most of that race. It was a very fast-paced race. Intrepido, he had a bit of a trouble. First, he steadies behind Desert Gate. Then he gets boxed in. But he was able to get out and he comes surging at the end and gets the win. Now on paper, this looks to be another fast-paced race. And given he's got the best late pace, you cannot ignore him. In terms of the angles, he's got that prep in a Grade 1 race, the class angle and the distance angle. His buyers, now they are a bit light compared to the other runners, but he is improving. For me, he's a horse that has to remain on my radar. The number 2 horse is Blackout Time. Trained by Kenny McPeek, he'll be ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. 3 starts with 1 win and 2 places, always in the exacta. The win came in a mile race at Ellis Park. Blackout Time was in the lead. He draws off and wins by, get this, 9 lengths. Then he enters the G1 Claiborne Breeders' Futurity. This distance, a mile and 1/16 at Keeneland, a key prep race. He comes out of post position 1, has really good position on the rail. Now he's right behind Ted Noffey and Litmus Test, both in this race. He begins to accelerate right before the final turn, catches Litmus Test, but can't catch Ted Noffey. Ted Noffey wins, Blackout Time second, 93 buyer, but that also puts him right in the mix here. He gets the angle of prepping and being in the money in a G1 race, also meeting the class angle by finishing second in a G1 race. He's got the experience at the distance and he performed really well at the distance, so the distance is no question for me. The one knock, and it's a big knock, is he's meeting up with Ted Noffey again. Kenny turn the tables. Now for me, he is a top contender, especially with Irad Ortiz aboard. Now, if you're finding this information useful, please make sure you hit like and hit subscribe. I've got a lot more Breeders' Cup coverage. If you don't see a video on a Breeders' Cup race, head on over to my website, www.trifectaandextra.com, as I'll be covering a few more of the races in a written blog. And now after Breeders' Cup, we are back on the road to the Kentucky Derby. The number 3 horse is Mr. AP, trained by Vladimir Sirin. He'll be ridden by Antonio Fresu. 3 starts, 1 win, and 2 places. This horse always in the exacta. And 2 of the races here at Del Mar. But this horse just broke his maiden last time out in a mile race at Santa Anita. Without the class or the distance experience, this is a tall task for the horse. Now he's by American Pharoah, so you would think with that breeding he could get the distance. And 2 of his races, fast-paced races. But the horses he's going to meet up here is a different quality than the horses he beat. So for me personally, Mr. AP is not going to pass the test. The number 4 horse is Comport. Trained by Eddie Keneally, he'll be ridden by Tyler Gaffalione. 4 starts with 2 wins and 2 places, so always in the exacta. The win came in a maiden race and the Baffert Manor Stakes, a 6-furlong race at Churchill Downs. Then he went into the Ellis Park Juvenile, a 7-furlong stakes race, and he wins by 2 lengths and earns an 80 buyer. Then he goes to the G3 Iroquois, a mile distance at Churchill Downs. Comes in second to Spice Runner by a head, but earns a 76 buyer. He's got the angle of being in the money in his prep, but no G1 experience, so he misses that class angle and also misses the distance experience angle. Now, he does like to be close to the lead, and that gives me pause because if this is a fast-paced race, I don't even know if he can sustain the longer distance. He's going to have to improve greatly to take on some of these horses, but I do want to point this out. His workouts, super strong, even a bullet for 4 furlongs on October 4th. The number 5 horse is Civil Liberty. Trained by Doug O'Neill, he'll be ridden by Frankie Dettori. Now this horse is still a maiden, so this is very deep waters for him. 3 starts with a place and a show. Now, he has competed in 2 G1 races. The G1 Del Mar Futurity at 7 furlongs, where he was bested by Brant and Desert Gate, and he's meeting up with Brant again today. And then also his next G1 was the American Pharoah at Santa Anita going a mile and a 16th. He comes in 4th behind Intrepido and Desert Gate. And guess what? He's meeting up with Intrepido again today. So given he's a maiden with top buyers in the upper 80s, this horse personally is just one I'm going to pass on. The number 6 horse is Litmus Test. Trained by Bob Baffert, he'll be ridden by Jose Ortiz. 3 starts, a win, and a show. Now this horse has tried Del Mar twice. He won his maiden going 5.5 furlongs, then came back for the G1 Del Mar Futurity, a 7-furlong race, and comes in 4th behind Brant, Desert Gate, and Civil Liberty. Now they're all in this race, well, except for Desert Gate, who's not in due to an infection. He moves on to Keeneland for his main prep race, the G1 Claiborne Breeders Futurity, and there he meets up with Ted Noffey and Blackout Time, also in this race, and he finishes 3rd. So he has the angle of prepping in a grade 1, and he finished in the money. He has 2 grade 1 experiences, but he's only been in the money 1 time. Now he has the distance experience, but he finished 3rd. So he's not hitting very many angles. The one thing I really don't like is he went up against the 2 best horses in this race, Brant and Ted Noffey, and didn't get close to either of them. The Del Mar Futurity was a fast-paced race. The Breeders' Futurity was not a fast-paced race. Now he led for a good portion of that race, but then he yielded. This test may be too much for him. However, I will not discount a Bob Baffert horse at Del Mar, especially sometimes when they're just figuring things out. He's an $875,000 purchase by Nyquist, who's a good sire of dirt routers. For me, I'm going to keep him on my radar, especially for underneath. The number 7 horse is Brant, the $3 million colt. Yes, I said it. $3 million. He's trained by Bob Baffert and will be ridden by Flavien Prat. 2 starts and 2 wins. First time out here at Del Mar in a 5.5 furlong race. Man, he blew the competition away. He won by 5 1/4 lengths, and get this, first time out, 101 buyer, triple digit buyer, and he almost set a track record. Then he goes into the G1 Del Mar Futurity, 7 furlongs. And again, here at Del Mar, he goes gate to wire and wins by 1, earns a 91 buyer. Now in that race, he got the best of his stablemate, Desert Gate, and also Civil Liberty. Desert Gate is no longer in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile due to an infection. Now this is a really professional colt who responds to jockey clues. He does have some questions to answer, but you have to respect a colt that easily wins at races at the same track that Breeders' Cup is being held at, and he never wavers on that fast speed. But the one question we're going to have is, can he get the distance? Now, the longest he's gone is 7 furlongs. He's a gun runner. They like to go longer. They get better longer. But I wish I wasn't asking this question going into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. The other thing is he's had a longer layoff than some of the other horses. His last race was September 11th. But let's look at those workouts, shall we? 1:11 going 6 furlongs, blazing hot. And he gets the best of trainers, Bob Baffert, who has won this 5 times in the last 20 years. Now this horse may get to the lead and just never look back. For me, top contender. The number 8 horse is Ted Noffey, also a top contender in the race. Trained by Todd Pletcher, he'll be ridden by Johnny Velasquez. Now he is by who? Into Mischief, and we know just how incredible Into Mischief is, the sire of sovereignty. And just remember, Todd Pletcher, he also has won this race numerous times, 4 times in the last 20 years, but never here at Del Mar. 3 starts and 3 wins. Impressive, right? Let's keep going. 2 of the wins, Grade 1 wins. The Grade 1 hopeful, 7 furlongs at Saratoga, and the Grade 1 Claiborne Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. This distance, a key prep race, and he earns a 97 buyer. He has the class, he's got the distance, he's got a winning trainer, he's got that professional stalking style. What is not to love here? Now I get Brant with Bob Baffert, very flashy and top contender, but there's no question for me on distance with Ted Noffey. So Ted Noffey, Brant, Intrepido, and Blackout Time, those are the horses that I feel personally are the top contenders in this race. But it doesn't really matter what I think. What matters is what you think. So drop me a comment below and tell me, who do you really like in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile? Make sure you hit like and hit subscribe. Lots of Breeders' Cup coverage, and then we are on the road to the Kentucky Derby. I hope you all find your Breeders' Cup winner. Cheers!